I think we देखना मैं स्क्रीन दिख रही है क्या तेरे को ये वाली हो गई है टेस्ट 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 बोल भाई
Check, check. Caesar's Palace. Caesar's.
आ रही है इसमें मैंने अपना टाइटल चेंज करा है क्या करा है पार्ट 2 ओके वी आर लाइव OBS all right so I'll quickly give a recap of what we did yesterday and what we have been doing really briefly. So we are trying to complete our OpenUSD certification study for the exam that we're gonna give on 26th June for the Learn OpenUSD certification by NVIDIA. Uh, there are total of 8 modules in this certification learning path. Um, and we have currently completed the first module and the second module, and we are partly done with the third module. We are trying to complete the third module today, and then we're going to be left with 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 that we believe is going to be rather quick because we have done our basics in depth. So I think it would only become exponentially easier for us to complete those modules. So, and then doing a little bit of catch up, we basically where went in depth of how in OpenUSD we can set up a stage, how the scene description blueprint works, what are schemas, what are XForms, what are XForm common API, what are attributes, what are opinions, what are basically relationships in the what are prims, what are their properties, or, all sorts of things. So we have a pretty good idea right now about what OpenUSD is all about, and yeah. And yesterday we initiated our third module, which was composition basics, which is going to be one of the main modules in the certification. As you can see over here, it's going to contain 23%. It's going to be weighing 23% in the exam. So it's pretty important. So we're trying to be in depth with that. And the main idea of composition is basically the strength ordering that we did yesterday, which is called liver P's. The quick acronym, like the full form for that acronym, is basically layers, inherits, variant sets, relocates, references, and payloads, and then specializes. I think that's the order, if I'm not wrong. And
Yeah.
we went over the, very basic strength ordering, conflict resolution in composition arcs. And then today we are going to be initiating specifiers to be specific, no pun intended. Um, Specifiers, then referencing basics, and then default prim and variant set basics. So that's gonna be the stream today. We're gonna try to complete this. And then we also have our notebooks over here ready for all sorts of things. So we can actually go into the code and tweak the code and see how it behaves. So we have this ready over here as well. Um, so I think we can get started with specifiers. Anything you want to add?
No, I think you have already summed up everything that we are going to do and what we have done till now. So I think let's just get started with specifiers.
So let's get started. Okay. What are specifiers? Basically, specifiers in OpenUSD convey the intent for how a prim or a prim spec should be interpreted in the compose scene. Specifiers can be one of three values: def, over, or class. Okay, so we did have a question about this like beforehand in the quiz for some reason. But yeah, a specifier conveys the author's intent for how a prim spec should be interpreted in composition. So it's basically a message for the composition engine about a prim of how it should be interpreted. And then uh, prim spec, yeah, should be interpreted in the composition. The specifier B can be of, so there are three types of specifiers. There are def, over, and class. We already know about def because this is what we have been using till now in our notebooks and in the code. So that there's def, and then over and class are the new ones that have been introduced right now. So def, which is short for define. I'm not gonna read this because I think every time we read this, it's basically the same thing that's written in the thing over here. So I'm not gonna read it twice. But let's do it just to be safe. My bad. Short. Okay. Specifiers.
It's only
Def.
8 seconds. So I'm assuming that it's gonna be the freaking same. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
only 8 seconds.
Yeah. So short for define. Def defines the prim in the current layer. Okay.
Dude, read the line below.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
read.
Okay. Okay. Def, which is short for define, defines the prim in the current layer. Def indicates a prim exists and concretely defined on the stage. So this is pretty basic. This is what we have been doing up till now. In the USDA file that we always view that gets generated after we run the Python code in the IPYNB. Um, so moving on, the resolved specifier of a prim essentially, resolved specifier of a prim essentially, which specifies wins, which specifier wins when the composition is
Is
completed, determines which stage traversal like rendering will visit that prim. This is a complicated statement, and I think we should talk about this more. What do you think?
just keep reading. Just keep reading. Dude, just keep reading, I would say. It's gonna get clearer as you go down.
All right, default traversals will only visit defined def, non-abstract prims, abstract prims. Default traversals will only visit defined. Oh, okay. So only the defined def will be visited in the default traversals, non-abstract prims. Abstract prims are those that resolve to the class specifier over. Okay. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Over the weakest specifier will resolve to either a def or a class specifier. Oh, okay. So I think the hierarchy is def is on top and then class and then over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, let's take a look at short for over. Okay, over is short for overdrive, def is short for define, and class should be, I think, class. Holds overrides for opinions that already exist in the compose scene on another layer. Holds overrides for opinion that already exist in compose scene on another layer. Okay. Will not translate back to the original prim. Okay. Enables non-destructive editing workflows such as changing a property of a prim like its color in another layer. Okay, cool. Short for override. Okay. So over, which is short for override, holds overrides for opinions that already exist in compose scene. What does this mean? Exist in compose scene on another layer. Holds overrides.
Yeah. So basically, let's say you are a compose scene and you want to implement a new opinion over that, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
use over to override the existing opinion, basically the attribute that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday we saw an example where we did use over to create a sphere on a complete composed layer. Like first we created multiple layers and then we use
Mm-hmm.
over to create a sphere like object
Mm-hmm.
with a radius 2. So that was something that we did, and that was an example over there how we can use over in a prim or in a stage. I think as you move further on, we will get to know like more about
Okay.
how we can utilize each and everything.
Bro, change your mic. I don't know what's going on. Your voice
Right,
is very glitchy. I don't know if it's
dude,
just for me or.
dude, I think I was so sleepy. It's fine. A class prim essentially signals that it is a blueprint. The class prims abstracts and contain opinion that are meant to be exposed onto
Bro,
other
your voice
prims.
is cutting a lot.
Uh,
Just change your mic.
change my mic.
Put it on Mac or something.
That's on Mac.
So put it on like.
Uh, hello, hello,
Yeah.
hello. Yeah. So a class prim essentially signals that it is a blueprint. A class prim abs- prims abstract and contain opinions that are meant to be composed onto other prims. It's worth noting that class prims are intended as the target of reference payload, inherit a specialized composition arc, or as a relationship target for a point instancer. These are concepts we will cover in later lessons. Prims that resolve to class specifier will also be present and compose onto a stage, but won't be visited by the default stage traversal, meaning it will be ignored by traversals such as those used for rendering. Hmm.
Wait,
Will
bro. A class prim essentially signals that it's a blueprint.
prim prim the resolve to prims that resolve to class specifier will also be present and composed on a stage, but won't be visited by stage traversals. Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense.
Wait,
So
I don't
basically,
understand this.
so basically, it says that okay. So let's say you create a prim that is going to resolve to class, right? And I think when we do hands-on
Mm-hmm.
learning, then we will get to know more about how it defines. But what it says over here is so a prim that resolve to class specifier. So what are specifier? Specifier is a fallback value over here. I would say
Mm-hmm.
that will also also be present and composed on a stage. So that class is gonna get composed on the stage, but when you're doing when the stage is doing a traversal of all the layers and everything, that thing in that default scenario, it will be ignored by traversals. So I think if we go more deeper, let's take a look at the code base.
Classrooms are intended as a target of reference payload, inherit or specialized composition arc, or as a relationship target for point instancer.
See, it says these are the concepts we will cover in later
Okay.
lesson. So like let's just keep on
Prim
absorbing the
that resolve
information.
prim that resolve to class specifier will also be present and composed on stage, but won't be visited by default stage traversal, meaning it will be ignored by traversals such as those used for rendering. Okay, so the rendering traversal will ignore the class specifier, and only the define specifier will be taken into consideration in the default traversal. So I think there will be some sort of special traversal that will take place, which I
Mm-hmm.
think will be called points instancer or something,
Oh.
in for the class specifier to be composed onto the
Mm-hmm.
stage. Okay, working with Python. Below is an example of how we can get or set prim specifier using Python. Let's run the notebook.
Yes.
So this is the example: prim dot get specifier, prim dot set specifier. So getting a prim specifier, it is helpful to look at USDA files to understand USD code encodes um, specifier and USD layer. In this example, we are defining a new prim called box with the type cube and size property set to 4. The def specifier indicates that box is being concretely defined on the stage. Okay. Uh, One sec. Mm-hmm. The over specifier sparsely modifies the size property without defining anything else about the prim. In this case, size. The over specifier sparsely. Wait. The over specifier sparsely modifies the size property. But I know how the def gets generated when we define it, right? But is
Mm.
there a different type of code that we'll see? Or is it down? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
let's go
wait,
down.
it's gonna be
This, I
down.
think they have everything over there.
Okay, the over specifier sparsely modifies the size property without defining anything else but about the prim. In this case, size is overridden to have value of 10. With an override like this, we may be trusting that box has been defined in another layer. For example, over box double size equal to 10. Lastly, we are authoring a new prim as a class called box. This can be as a reusable template in USD scene.
Class hooks. So I think, hmm, like this code base makes much more sense. Wait, let me just take a look again. So first, we know we need to get the specifier. Then we are gonna set the specifier, and then what we are gonna do, we are gonna use def to define a cube, similar to how we define a class or a function, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to name that cube something that is box, and then we are going to define the attributes that are our opinions for that cube, right? Then we have the over specifier that modifies the size property.
Wait, what did you say?
Oh,
What did you say?
oh, wait, what?
What did you say? Def specifies the prim.
So def is basically like, if in Python, if we define a function, we use def to define a function,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So
Over here,
now
it's
over here,
defining a prim.
yeah, so it's defining a prim cube, and
Mm-hmm.
then once we have that, then we're going to define the name of the prim. The name of the prim is going to be box,
Mm-hmm.
right? So once we have defined that, now let's say you have defined the prim, you have created the naming of the prim, that is a box, you have given the attribute and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And once we move down in the over here, it says over specifier sparsely modifies the size property without defining anything else about the prim.
Mm-hmm.
So over here it says that, so once you have the prim defined, so at somewhere, once you have defined that there is a prim name box that exists,
Mm-hmm.
you can basically override the property of the prim using the over thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, I would say in a scenario where you have created a complete box, and that initially the default size or the default value of that box is 4,
Mm-hmm.
but once you load this box somewhere, you want the size to increase. So you
Mm-hmm.
cannot go back and change the definition, right, and
Mm-hmm.
change the value. So rather than that, you would use over property over here. That will help us to change the size by, like, change the opinion basically. So as it says, the over specifier sparsely modifies the size property without defining anything else about the prim, right? So the over property will be only used to change a single property of that object if it
Mm-hmm.
has, right? And lastly,
Over
we have
wait, over specifier sparsely modifies the size property without defining anything else about the prim. Size is overridden by a value of 10. With an override like this, we may be trusting that the box has been defined in another layer. For example,
yeah.
over box double size equals to 10. So this will override the code over here to
It's
define
not gonna
this.
override. It's not gonna override. It's gonna when you compile it, it's gonna
Bro, it's
prefer to
saying
take
right
this
here.
value. It's overridden, but what I'm saying is the value stays the same in the background,
Yeah.
right? In the main file, the value is gonna be 4, but when you compile it, the stage is gonna pick up the value that we have defined in the over thing.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
I'm
I
saying.
said. It's going to
Yeah, yeah,
override the default value.
yeah. And lastly, we are authoring a new prim as a class that is underscore box.
Mm-hmm.
This can be used as a reusable template. So I think if we define it under a class, like other types of classes we have in object-oriented programming,
Yeah.
it is similar to that. Now let's move on to example one.
Wait,
That
what is the? We're authoring a new prim as class called box. This can be used reusable template in USD scene. But it's not related to any of these, right?
no, but it will be used like when if you take a look at the new notebook that we have down, we will
Yeah.
find out how everything sums up.
All right, let's see what this is all about. Hmm. Nothing new. It's the same thing. Okay. So create a simple. Okay. They're importing display USD display code, create new stage, PXR import USD geom, SDF, GF, base file path, create new stage, base file path, create a simple scene with two cubes. World is equal to USD geom dot xform define stage, comma, yeah, this is same. Set default prim. Okay, so this is different. Set default prim, world dot get prim. So world is the default prim now as the stage, right?
Yeah,
Create a simple scene with two view. So world is the default prim. Okay, box prim cube. So USD geom dot cube dot define. This is again from an X or from an API stage, comma world dot get path dot append child. So it's going to be appended under world. So it's going to be slash world slash box for the box prim cube. Then get size attribute. I don't know what that is exactly, but we are setting it to 2. So the size is 2 right now. Now box 2 prim cube is equal to USD cube blah 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 box 2. And it's gonna be appended under world as well. So it's gonna be slash world slash box 2. But now for box 2 prim cube dot get size attribute, and then it's going to be set at 2. So the basically the side of that cube is 2. Um, box 2 API. Okay, USDGeom.xform common API. Okay, box 2 prim cube. Now box 2 API set translate GF vec 3D. Okay, now class prim. Define a class prim with a display color prim var. Class prim equals to stage dot create class prim world get path append path look green. What? I think the book notebook is not showing us the proper colors. Oh
wait,
no, it
what?
is.
No, no, it's the same. I think
Yeah, it's the same.
box from USG.
And then okay, I understand till here. And then class prim is equal to stage dot create class prim world dot get path append path look green. I don't know what that why. Okay, whatever. And then class primvar API. USDGeom dot primvars API class prim. So they appended it like they attached primvars API to this prim. And then what will that do? Class primvar API primvar API dot create primvar. Um, so it's creating a prim display color. SDF value type dot color 3 arrays dot set. Okay, so this is going to set it. So what? SDF specifier def. SDF specifier def. Also, this is nothing. It's just showing what the array. This is just doing the get prim dot get specifier thing that it was showing in the code above here. Get specifier, get set specifier.
Yeah, like because the specifier is a really important concept because it defines what will be the values that will be set
But
as
it's just
fallback.
showing the specifier. It's nothing. It's not doing
Yeah,
anything
that's
else.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. Like it's showing us how it is being used in the code base. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just have to understand the code base and to see where it is getting used, and eventually in the furthermore instructions or the notebooks, we will get to know more about it. And
Mm-hmm.
the above was an example for authoring defs and classes in a base layer. So that was basically an example how you can author a class
Mm-hmm.
over here. So as we can see, it showed
Create
us,
class
okay,
prim.
yeah, you have to use the create class from library to create the class, and
You know,
then
that's not a library.
sorry, that function, my bad. That's a
Yeah.
function,
Mm-hmm.
stage dot create class prim function, and then you can define, you can load that class into a primvars API. Now
Mm-hmm.
this is something I don't know, but I'm just assuming it's a prim API.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you have that, then you can use it to create a primvar something for a
Mm-hmm.
displaying color. So this is like more
But we should have
complicated.
been like the demo should have been of defining a class and then using that class to create another prim.
So
I think that's
I
what
think
they're gonna do in
defining
the
it.
second one.
So if you look at the pseudocode, like the code that has been outputted, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you will understand what
Yeah, yeah,
it
I
is meant.
understand that they are specifying the def
No.
specifier
Go down, go down, go down. You will see. Yeah,
over
this
here.
thing, this thing. Yeah. Now read through this.
Yeah, there's xform world, and under that there is box. Then there is
So
box two,
yeah.
and then there's.
So the thing that we learned that we saw was the output of the
Oh,
USD
wait. I
file.
understand it now.
Now you understand it.
Yeah,
That's what I
see,
was
it
saying.
defined slash underscore look slash green. So it when it creates a class, it creates a def for look and then an over for green. Look at this. Def look and then class is green.
Yeah. So it's
Oh.
we are appending a path, right? That's how you append a path. That is a concatenated line that is saying look and then underscore green, and then this API that we have stage dot create class prim is doing the heavy lifting by creating the class accordingly. So we created a class named look.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, wait. We created a def named look, and then we
Look,
created a
class is
class.
green.
Yeah. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I think like let's go deeper more.
Yeah,
This
because I don't
script,
understand why this happened.
I think
I
they're gonna
only,
show it.
yeah.
I also don't understand it, but I'm gonna say if you go more down, we will get to know more
What
because this
did
is
they write
something.
before that? This script defines two concrete cubes, specified def, and a reusable term class. Oh, wait. This script defines two concrete cubes, specified def, and reusable class prim. That holds display color opinion for inheritance. The output contrasts the compose specifier for each. Output contrasts compose specifier for each showing def for geometry and class for abstract prim. What does this mean? I'm gonna ask Gemini. Hmm. Oh, there are people watching. Hello there. Okay.
Now
Based
let's
on
focus on.
specifiers, 1 second. Let me just understand this. Why it is doing like, what this statement actually means. OpenUSD labels different types of 3D objects so that the computer knows whether to draw them or treat them as a temple. The fuck does that mean? Here is the explanation in simpler terms. The script creates two different kind of things in your scene. How to show in your scene to show you how they look in code to use one master color template. You can see it's just shared blueprint. Okay, let's go down. I think we'll need some more examples to understand this. Example 2. This script sublayers the base file. What does sublayers mean? Like sublayers the base file.
Layer.
Oh,
Oh no no.
I the okay. The file under
Yeah
the layer.
yeah
Okay,
yeah
in that hierarchy. Got it.
yeah.
The script sublayers the base file. Authors authors over on world box. Authors over on world slash box to change size. Okay, and add an inherits arc so the box picks up the class color. The prim stack printout make it clear that the strong layer contributes, or while the base contributes def, and the class opinions are applied via the inherit. Ooh, okay.
So
So
let's
as it
we
is,
we
um,
created a new file path, and then we on that file path we are creating a stage.
ooh,
Oh,
green.
okay.
Oh, I
And
think
then
I know what's gonna happen in
base
this
is weaker
code.
than the root layer. Definitely, base is gonna be weaker than the root layer.
And the
Perfect.
classes they're gonna use the look green class from above.
Then
That's why it's green.
they're gonna stage dot override prim path author and override for the same prim.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So now we have box prim cube, but wait, if we are overriding, how are we overriding? Oh, stage. Oh, okay. Makes sense. Okay, so I know what we did. So what we did over here is first, like till 13th line. So first
Yeah.
we picked up a new file path, and then we loaded the file path onto a stage using a create new stage function. Once we have that, we definitely added a new root layer. Sorry, we got the root layer path, and then we added a sublayer onto that, and then in that sublayer path we added our base file path value. That was the path that for the base, like basically the sublayer. And
So
once we
this is the
had
base
that,
file. So this is the base file, right?
yeah, yeah.
And then this script sublayer is the base file.
Now
And
once we did that, we had a prim path that was world box, and whatever the values we had from the stage, we basically override it onto that prim so that we
wait,
can
1 second. Let
execute.
me 1 second. We defined the base file path over here. So this is the file that was generated after we ran this code, right?
Yes.
And then we set it to stage equal to create new stage, new file path, stage dot get root layer dot sublayer path, base file path. Base is weaker than the root layer. I don't get it. Get root layer dot sublayer paths. It's a base file path. Okay. Prim path equals to world box. Override for the same prim. Stage dot override prim path. Okay, so this is the function override prim. Get the cube and change its size. Box prim cube USD geom dot cube dot get. Okay, it got bigger, set 4 inches. And then compose the class onto the box using an inherit arc. Box prim dot get inherit. What is going on over here, bro? How is it using the look green?
So on the line 16, get the cube and change its size. So we're gonna get the cube from the stage and the prim
Mm-hmm.
path, and then we're gonna put change this, like basically update the attribute using the set. So that increases the size of that cube. Since we know that it's a box and box has a def property of cube, you remember over here, like the def cube. So we already know the definition of the cube, and we just need to know the name of that box. That's why we took directly the stage and prim path. Like look at the prim path, it says world and box, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say first what we did was increase the size of the box. That's why the size was increased. And
Author and
once we
override for the prim. So override prim
Mhm.
path. Stage dot override prim and prim path. Get the cube and change its size. Box prim cube equals to USD geom dot cube dot get. So this is basic stuff, right? They're just getting
Yeah,
the prim from the base file path, and
yeah.
then they're changing the size, and then compose the glass onto the box using an inherit arc.
So o-
Glass.
on the box prim cube, we use dot get prim, dot get inherit, and dot add inherit property. Dude, this is some complex shit. And then we
Yeah.
use SGF path to put that green color over it. Oh, okay. Wait, what does the file looks like? Specify.base USDA payment inherits world of prim overworld. Wait, overworld was created. Oh, okay, got it. So look at the USDA file that was created. Yeah, as we
Yeah.
can see. So when we did stage.override prim path, prim
Yeah.
over that path, so we created an override over the world that we
Mm-hmm.
have initially, right? And then whatever the next path was over there, it also got overridden. Override. Why? Because it was like world and box. So that's why we have two over here. World. We
Mm-hmm.
are like overriding world and box at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And and now what we're trying to do, we're trying to inherit the properties of world, look, and green. So that we have
Mm-hmm.
defined over here. So over here, what we're assuming is these files already exist in the code base somewhere from where which we are trying to append, right? And once we do that, we are trying to use this sjf.path. uh, sjf is the library and path is the function that it has to basically add the inherit, get the inherit, and then implement it on the box prim cube. And
Mm-hmm.
we can also see that the attribute was implemented outside the over, not inside it. So that was something, you know, outside it. So if you look at the USD file, it looks like overbox, and then you have like you have two brackets in which you are basically inheriting the values so that your box is able to change the color accordingly.
Hmm.
So this is what's happening. Like it's showing us how we can use the Python API to do like play with the USD file accordingly, like how we
Hold up.
have
And
created a sublayer, and then from that sublayer we are basically loading everything inside it. And that's why I think we have two boxes over here. So that first sublayer is just loading the right box, and the second overworld is loading the second box over there. I
mm-hmm.
would say.
Yeah, so this is the sublayer,
Yeah.
and then this is the override.
overridden one. That it shows that okay, initially that
And it's
prim,
defining double size equals to 4.
yes. So I think in the 24th and 25th for prim spec in box prim dot get prim stack. So we have some kind of identifier that is trying to load it. But no, oh, this is something that is getting printed over here. Layer specifier over base.usd specifier, sdf specifier layer. Oh, okay. Dude, look at the layers that are getting printed from that prem. What are the layers that SDF has? So one of them is specifier over, the other one is specifier def, and the last one is specifier class.
Oh.
So all of these are getting implemented on the prem that we
Mm-hmm.
have created till now.
That we?
So initial that we created, like the prem that we loaded from the starting,
Oh, okay.
we implemented everything over it, and that's why we have our box with a big box and a green color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know this is like kind of confusing, but as we go like more further into the notebook, I think things will start to clear out more.
Mm-hmm.
But it did make sense that okay, how this is how you can use over and world, and where is it is getting used, and where you can use def and class accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Key takeaways over here are again, every prim will have a specifier. To have a prim present on the stage and available for processing, you would define def that prim, and you can use specifier over to hold opinions that will be applied to prim defined in another layer,
Mm-hmm.
and leverage non-destructive editing workflow, while class specifier can be leveraged to set up opinions and properties to be composed by other prims.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So as we can see that initially we did define the cube, that was our class kind of thing. And then we also defined look green, that is a class that we did implemented and loaded into our second notebook.
Mm-hmm.
So basically we got a I would say not a deep understanding, but an overview of what
Mm-hmm.
is depth, what is class, and
Mm-hmm.
what is over. And that was the
Now
only
give me
goal
one
of this.
second.
Yeah, I think that was the only goal of this part.
Mm-hmm. Give me like 2 minutes.
Mhm.
Come back, bro. Hello.
Okay. So we have three types of specifier: def, over, and class.
Mm-hmm.
Each of them have different properties. Def helps you to define. Class helps you to create reusable
Let's
prints.
read this one more time. Like I feel like I can open Gemini over here as well. Um, so basically,
Dude,
what they
I'm again saying, just focus on you're trying to overcomplicate it. Just focus on
okay,
what each and every thing is, because in the starting only they said that this is kind of a complex, and they're gonna teach us more as we dive
okay,
deeper,
okay.
right?
I'm
But
just trying to understand how they got the how just they added this why is this inheriting from this green class? I'm just trying to understand that.
because we did use inherit, right? Like the get
Get
inherit
yeah, that's what I'm reading, right? That
yeah,
get prim, get inherits, add inherit,
yeah.
and then SDF dot path. Okay, box prim cube.
So over here, look and green is a class that they created, that we created on the above.
Oh right, from prim spec in box. Prim cube dot get prim stack layers. What is this? What is this for loop?
It's printing basically the three lines that you have on
Oh,
the.
okay, okay, okay. My bad. And we are just using identifier get prim stack. So layer is prim spec dot layer dot identifier split. Specifier is prim spec dot specifier df specifier over sdf specifier def class. Okay, got it. Yes, we can move to
Right.
referencing
Basics.
basics.
Yes, I think this is what is gonna cover. The
Oh,
lesson talks briefly about references. The word may seem familiar. We introduced the concept in the previous lesson on composition and strength ordering, where references represents the R in verbs. A reference in universal scene description is a composition arc that enables the composition of prims and their descendants onto other prims. This allows us to use references to aggregate larger scenes from similar modular units of scene
smaller,
description, smaller modular units of the scene description. This can be done with external references, which graph data from other files, or internal references, which graph data from other part of the hierarchy. They are fundamental in USD's composition system, enabling modular and reusable scene description, and they are the second most important composition arc in USD after sublayers. So sublayer is the composition arc that combines multiple layers into an ordered stack with shared namespace in an include fashion.
wait, what? Why was there a sudden drop in our viewership? It
Because we
went
both
from
left,
3 to 0.
yeah, we both left, right?
Okay.
So how does it work? A reference arc includes the identifier of a path. This is really important. How does it work? I think this is what will help us to understand. how we can use reference. So what it says over here is it includes the
Mm-hmm.
identifier of or path to the layer. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like the layer we created slash world or something. This is what it's talking about. To reference from which can be omitted from internal references, and the prim path to reference, which can be omitted if you want to load an entire external layer which has default prim
Mm-hmm.
defined. When prim is composed by a reference, USD first composes the layer stack. So, what is layer stack? A layer stack is an ordered list of subarrays combined to form a single namespace for composition. So, this is really important. Like, I think in our earlier code snippet, we did do some kind of layer stack. You know, we created an array base layer,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, this is what it's talking about, kind of in a way of the reference prim, then adds the resulting prim spec. A prim spec is an uncomposed prim in a layer that contributes
Mm-hmm.
scene description to the composed scene prim
Mm-hmm.
to the destination prim, and then it applies any overrides or additional composition arcs from the destination prim. So let's look
Bro,
at some of
what? 1 second.
yeah.
I think it's an issue with Video Ninja.
What?
Your. Oh yeah, speak now.
Yes, 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 yes.
No, it's an issue with Video Ninja. Your voice is clear, but it's breaking a lot. 1 second. Okay, speak now.
Test, test, test.
Okay, read. I think read something.
Working with Python, here are a few ways you can work with
I
references.
don't know. It's
Python
getting
API.
worse. One
Oh,
second.
shit.
Okay, speak now.
Test.
I think it should be good now. I turned off the echo cancellation. Okay. Okay, yeah. Let's do this. Um, so references represents R in DevOps. Reference universal is a composition arc that enables composition of prims. Reference universal is a composition of prims. So use reference to aggregate larger scenes from smaller modular units of scene description. This can be done with external references, which graph data and other files or internal reference, which graph data from other parts of hierarchy. Um, Second most after sublayers. Okay, so layers are sublayers in labor piece.
Yep. Like
Okay.
you can have a number of layers. That's why they are like non-destructive. That's why they have non-destructive workflow. Like
Composition arc that enables composing prims and their descendants onto other prims, allowing aggregation of larger scenes from smaller units. Can we? What does this mean? Descendants onto other prims. What does this statement mean?
Which one?
Composition arcs that enable composing prims and their descendants onto other prims.
Composition
Oh,
of
references. Okay. Allowing
the
aggregation
second.
of larger scenes from. Okay, got it, got it, got it. Can be external loading data from the other files or internal loading data from other parts of the hierarchy. Okay. The second most important composition arc in USD after sublayers are fundamental in. Wait, but like the strength ordering is layers, inherits, variant sets, relocates, and then references. Why is it saying it's second most?
It doesn't have E.
Huh?
Liverbs, look at the liverbs.
Yeah, but like after layers is like inherits. Why is it saying it's second most important composition arc
Where is
after
it?
sub layers?
This. Wait, wait. Okay, hold on. Where the hell is that thing? Let me just wait. What the hell? Yeah. Second most important composition arc in USD after sublayer. Sublayer is sublayer is something combines multiple layers. Sublayer is something different. It's saying important. It's saying important,
Oh, important.
not in technical manner, literally, like
So it's not
theoretically.
talking about the strength ordering.
No, no, it's not talking about the strength ordering.
Okay. Composition arc. Okay.
Otherwise, it would say they are the fundamental in USD common system and strength ordering. It would have mentioned something over there.
A reference statement includes the layer address, optional for internal references, and the prim path, optional if loading an entire external layer with a default prim. Yeah, it includes layer address, optional for internal reference, and the prim path, optional if loading an entire external layer with a default prim. Uh-huh. Okay, got it. Referencing arc includes the identifier or path of the layer to reference from, which can be omitted for internal references. Prim path to reference, which can be omitted if you want to load an entire external layer which has a default prim defined. When a prim composed via reference arc, USD first composes the layer stack of the reference prim, then adds the result. Composed via reference arc, USD first composes the layer stack of the referenced prim, then adds the resulting prim spec to the destination prim. Then it applies any overrides or additional composition arcs from destination prim. Working with Python. What does this last paragraph mean?
When a premise composed via reference, USD first composes the layer stack. So whatever the layer stack you have will be composed first, like the sublayers and everything of the reference prem. So whatever, so if you are referencing a prem, that prem can also have its layers,
It
right?
means
And
OpenUSD builds the imported object completely on its own first.
yeah, and then it adds a resulting prem spec to the destination prem. So whatever the prem spec you have
Hmm.
or something that you're trying to override, it's gonna implement that. So it's gonna first build. the reference individually, and then like it's showing us how does the reference and the whole thing compiles eventually, and then it applies any overrides or additional, say, see it says over, and applies any overrides or additional composition arc from the destination frame,
Mm-hmm.
right? So again, like you're referencing a complex frame or a setup that have a lot of things, right? So we have a couple of Python functions for getting the references. We can use prim dot get references to return a USD reference object for managing references on a prim. So if we already have some kind of prim, and then we and somebody has already implemented some references over there, we can use that. Or maybe add a reference using the asset path and the prim path. So asset path is the stage, like as we saw in our earlier thing, whatever the asset you're trying to add the reference, you use that and the prim path of that reference. Or remove all references, so clear all references clears everything out.
Mm-hmm.
Depend. In the example, we can see that there is an XForm world, XForm geometry, and then XForm box. And they have, and then we are referencing a cube box from another USDA file. So it says that firstly we want to grab all the reference of a prim. To do that, we use get reference. This returns the USD references object, which allows us to add, remove, and modify references. Page, let me, okay, what does the code base says? Over here we can see that we have stage, and then we have the cube, and then we are defining the default prim, then we are creating a second file and a stage and defining a world. So the second file has some kind of shapes, and then we create a new stage, and then we define an XForm API onto that stage with the world. And then once we have that, we define a sphere over in that prim, and eventually we go with the reference prim, stage.define prim, world.get path. Okay, add a reference to the queue, reference prim.get reference, add reference. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. It makes sense. Makes sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So once we have defined our prim, we can get the prim reference and then add a reference or remove the reference accordingly. And we can also put the XForm common API over that prim that we have the right now reference to do some kind of translation or something that we want.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important line over
So
here, right?
I'm
Line
wait,
7.
I'm opening the file.
Yeah, the most important line over is here is line 17 and line 20. That is helping us to reference all those things.
Oh, the okay, reference prim dot get reference, add reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, I need to understand the code from this. File path is so create a new okay, new stage. Cube is defined. Stage is set default prim. So they are setting the default prim as cube, I guess,
Yeah. They're setting the default prim as a cube.
as the cube. Create a second file path and stage define a world and a sphere. So stage second file path world is defined and then they define a cube. They define a sphere
Yeah.
and then over here reference prim is equal to so another variable they're defining it as defining a prim on the stage world dot get path
Yeah.
dot append path cube ref. So this cube ref is basically the prim under world
Yeah.
as a layer, which is
Yeah.
going to be a reference prim.
N- yeah. And then in
Add
that prim,
reference to the
we are going to
cube.usda
add
file.
and then we are
So
going to add the
reference prim dot get reference dot add reference,
yes.
and the add reference would be dot slash cube USDA
Yes.
over here.
Yes.
So, but then what is the use of this thing's default prim?
Where is it?
Set default prim, right? They're using it to set the cube prim as default.
Uh,
They are not. What
that
is?
is the stage. That is the stage. So you are confused. So over here, wait again. In the from line 4 to line
Bro,
8.
1 second. Your audio is fucked for some
So
reason. I don't
from
know.
line 4, it's still from.
Yeah, I think. Can you do one thing? Just leave and join again. Leave this and join again.
Like on line 4th, from line 4th to line 8.
Oh yes, your audio is much
Yeah.
better now. Much better.
So from line 4th to line
Yeah.
8, we have created a cube prim,
Yeah.
completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And then from line 11 to line 14, we have created a sphere prim.
Yeah. This is completely different.
Yeah. Now we have two files.
Mm-hmm.
Now on from line 17 to line 22,
Mm-hmm.
we are referencing the prim that we created in the second file onto the first file. From in the second file, we are referencing our first file, as you can see. Over here, we use dot slash
Wait,
cube.
wait, wait.
Look at
We are
I-20.
creating a reference prim over here.
Yeah, yeah.
By I understand this. They are creating a reference prim by doing stage.define prim,
Mhm,
world.get path, append path,
mhm, mhm,
cube ref. Okay.
mhm.
And then they add a
Look at
reference to the cube.usdf file. So this is the
yeah,
cube.usdf file over
yeah,
here. They
yeah.
add a reference to that.
Yes,
And what do they reference to that? This reference prim, right?
yes, yes,
Reference prim dot get references dot add reference dot
yes,
slash cube USD. I understand
yes,
that. Okay.
yes,
They're referencing it to this file.
yes,
And then position the cube USD geom.xform API reference prim dot set translate gf vec3d 500. Okay.
yeah.
So they are positioning the cube.
And then they are
Stay.
positioning the cube on the x-axis 5 points towards.
Yeah. But like,
Yeah.
what what does this
Go
do?
down.
Like, what does this referencing do to that
Go
thing
down.
then?
Let me go
Def
there.
sphere. Sphere is just sphere. So this is nothing. This is just
Yeah.
something.
Yes. Yes.
Cube ref. Okay.
That's the one that we created, and then in that cube ref, we are referencing the other USDA file that we want to render, right?
E-
So instead of
Yes.
basically copy pasting the above code, we are referencing it from a different
Oh,
file.
so
Yeah.
wait. And then cube.usd define usd stage.save defining cube. So I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Why so this is cube ref. This cube is
Mm-hmm.
cube ref, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why do we not see the original cube then over
Because we are
here?
not loading it, dude. We are not
Wha-
loading it.
Wait, how are we loading this?
Go to state. Look, we are loading the world right over here. So they are loading the world. They are not loading the other file. That's what I'm saying. On from line 10 to line 14, go through it.
This is stage dot save. Bro, they're loading this one as well.
They are saving it first. Look at the code execution. Look at the code execution, how it goes. If they do not save it, it will be in the same file. If they are saving it first, it will be in a different file. Look at this way it's gonna execute. So first, when the code executes, it's gonna look at the file path cube.usda. It's gonna create the cube. It's
Okay,
gonna
wait,
define.
let's do some one thing.
So it's gonna create two different files. Again, I'm saying two different. We have two different file paths. We do not have same path. We have two different file paths.
I know, I understand that. Let me. So if I do this, you're saying it's going to. Oh, but the file is already created. So
Yeah.
cube test.
So I would say, wait. Okay, well, you know what? What you can do? Just remove that code block, and it's still gonna render
What?
the cube. If you remove that code block and run it again, it's still gonna render.
Okay. Kernel.
Wait. Yeah. Now just comment the first line, first 14 lines, like from 4 to 8. Just comment them. 4 to 8, comment them.
4 to 8?
Like from the file path, yeah, this from file path to stage.save, comment them,
Yeah.
right? And if we have the file that exists in our system, it is still gonna render it. That's what I'm saying.
It will not render because it
That
won't be able
exists
to. It won't be
because
able to reference it.
no, it will be able to reference it, dude, because this file exists in the asset folder. This file exists in the asset folder, brother.
Okay.
Run it. Let's see. It should.
Hmm. You're
I
right.
told you.
Uh-huh.
This is what I was talking. This is how call by reference works in like every other programming language.
Mm-hmm.
That you have reference a file that is somewhere already
So,
exists.
okay, I have one more doubt. If I run this again, so there will be a new file created again, which will be a duplicate file, right?
Yeah, or it's gonna override it, whatever happens. Because it's all about the name. You can change the name and you can have fun with it.
Let's do one thing.
Oh, you know what?
Three.
You can do sphere. You can do two spheres instead of one. You can do two spheres, and then it's gonna affect it accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Q2.usda, and then I do stage.save, and then I do second file shapes2.usda, and then I do stage equals to create new stage second file path reference prim stage.define prim world get path reference prim get references add reference. So let me run this again. Yes, it created new file. Valid. Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. Now, example two, referencing
One
an
second, bro. 1 second. Don't rush it.
dude.
Why are
What
you
do you?
rushing it, bro? 1 second.
I know it's really simple. You're just wasting your time on it. I'm
Bro,
saying that.
I'm not clear on that.
It's already 10:43. I'm not gonna push it again. I'm saying,
I'm
right?
not asking you to put what the hell,
I'm
bro? Why
saying,
you so
you are wasting time on silly things. That's what I'm saying, brother.
what the
I
hell?
already showed you two times the same example. And I proved you that it's gonna still render, but
Bro, 1 second. I understand it. I was just confused, but I'm just trying to understand one more thing, one last thing over here. So, okay, now if I remove this and it does not have a reference, I'm just trying to understand what code exactly. So it's doing reference prim, staged or defined. Okay,
the only
cube.
line that matters is the reference prim dot get reference dot add reference that adds the reference. That's it.
So this is the file path. Are you saying this is the file path?
Yes, that is the file path. If you change it to two, it's gonna do two, and it's still gonna work. If you do three, it's not. It's gonna break.
Oh, you're saying to make it fair, right?
Yes, fair.
And then this should be slash
Yeah, you can name it whatever you want. It won't matter.
test, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll do this cube 3. And then
Changing the
over
cube.
here, you're saying cube 3. All right. And then, okay. What else?
That's it.
Cube ref. So now you're saying it should be a sphere.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll run this again.
Cube. Yeah, it's gonna be perfect. Yeah. Run it. Run it.
Yes, sir. Okay. I understand it now. We can move on. Example 2. That's
Example: referencing an external asset. Referencing in OpenUSD allows for inclusion of external assets or subscene data into a scene. This mechanism helps in modularizing and reusing.
helps in modularizing and reusing assets across different scenes and projects, enabling efficient management of large-scale 3D environments. So basically, inclusion of external assets or subscene data into a scene mechanism helps in modularizing and reusing assets across different scene. Okay, so basically using like smaller assets and artifacts in a scene.
So in this, we are adding another USD reference, and then we are going to
Hmm.
load it. So
Oh, it's
that
crazy.
kind of geometry, that's crazy shit.
Amazon parcel.
Yes, AI robotics.
Finally getting to the good stuff. Let's see if
Yes.
this runs in our shit. Oh, hell yeah. The lighting is pretty good too. Hell yeah.
So so it loaded perfectly. Why? Because that is an external asset reference because of that file a0.usd.
Hmm. Okay, I'll stop playing with it now. Okay. So
The
let's see
code,
the import. They're using shuttle.
where is it?
Import shuttle, clean up and exec
Yeah,
shuttle.
that's something like for cleanup and all those things. It's not something important. It's only trying to catch if the file exists or not. There's a track edge block.
Okay. File stage. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's just geometry and X form. So they added cube box too over here. Oh, there's
Yeah,
a full. Oh, there's textures in cube box.
yeah.
Oh shit.
So this is like a package that we will already have. We don't have to worry about it.
Oh shit. This is so cool.
You're right away.
Okay, cube and then this is the USD. Why? Why is it having error opening the USD? Oh, dot USD file. encoded. That's encoded shit. So .usd we cannot open in this. .usd is the OpenUSD. We need the OpenUSD viewer for.
You
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
USD C?
yeah,
There's a compiled version.
yeah. Hell yeah, bro! It's starting to click now. I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
So, like, if you go through the code base, if you want to just run through the code, it's pretty simple. That what we did.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. This is straightforward. I know this.
straightforward.
It's just defining a root X form named world.
Page
So
and then
the
yeah, it's easy shit.
and then geometry X form under the world X form. So this is like slash world slash geometry. And then define a new X form named box under the root geometry. So it's gonna be slash world slash geometry slash box. And then they're going to add a reference of cube box which is present in that folder uh, as
Yep.
USD. So the USD file gets referenced over here and then that gets loaded over here. It's pretty simple.
Yep.
Cool, yo.
Key takeaways. Why is it important to understand and leverage references properly? Reference have several practical use cases as mentioned earlier.
This makes
References are
sense now. Yeah. So
for
they are
building.
basically saying that we can use multiple
Yeah.
different small subscenes or components
Yep.
like this, basically, over
Yep.
here. Like textures. We are able to use these JPG as textures
Yep.
in our scene description.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Key takeaways. Why is it important? References have several practical use cases, as mentioned earlier, and references are useful for building large, complex scenes by referencing
Hmm.
smaller scenes or components. We see referencing used commonly for asset libraries, where you might have assets, materials, or other props reused across several scenes. By leveraging references, artists and developers can create more efficient workflows, manage complex scenes, and collaborate more effectively across different departments and production stages.
Hmm.
Default trim.
Default prim.
In this lesson, we will explore the concept of default trim in universal scene description. Default trim are essential for scene management, especially when dealing with complex hierarchies and references.
Oh, you see over here that I was telling you, bro.
Well,
Set default prim. Look at this. This is the one that I was getting confused in.
so we are going to learn it right over here, brother.
Yeah, yeah. So you're saying, oh, wait, that's just something.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, go with the flow. In the in,
Oh,
in
flow,
the first,
flow. Okay, flow, flow, flow.
the
Let's
first
flow.
slide
Let's
itself,
flow.
this is very
Let's
complex.
fucking flow, bro.
Default terms are essential for scene management, especially when dealing with complex hierarchies and references. By the end of this lesson, we will understand what default terms are and why they're important and how to set them using Python. What is default prim? A default prim is in OpenUSD is a top level prim. Look at it.
Okay,
It's a
wait.
top level prim or primitive that is part of the layer metadata and serves as the primary entry point or root for a stage. So what is a default prim? It is the primary entry point or the root for a stage, and it helps other parts of the system to know where to start or what to focus on. So basically, it's saying that when we compose the USD scene or the file,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it will tell the USD composer that this is the entry point for our prem, and this is where you should get started on like creating the whole stage out.
Mm-hmm.
Since we know that a USD file can have multiple prems, so it should not be like, hey, you are rendering the sphere first and then rendering the other prems later on. That will break the system out.
Mm-hmm.
How does it work? It is best practice to set a default prem in our stages.
Mm-hmm.
It's crucial for tools and application that read USD files as it guides them to primary content. For some, it may even be considered invalid if the default prim is not specified for the stage. USD checker checks for the default prim and reports an error if it is not set on a stage. A default prim is also particularly useful when the stage's root layer is referenced in other stages, such as reference or payload, as it eliminates the need for consumers to specify a target prim manually.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at this example. We have a USD file named simple scene with the following content. So first we're defining the default prim, that is the car,
Yeah.
that would be the point, and then we have a X form for that car, and then
Yeah.
and then we are defining the mesh body with some
Mm-hmm.
attributes or opinions that we need,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have again the X form building, and then we have the mesh structure
Mm-hmm.
accordingly. So over here, since we know the default premise car, so first it's gonna render the car, and then after that it's gonna render the building. So I think it says over there the default prim metadata is set to car, indicating the car is the main entry point of the USD file. When you bring the .usd file in a reference or payload, the car will show up visually in the stage. If we
Mm-hmm.
set the default prim to the building, then the building will show up in the stage and when referenced. So if no default prim is set, when the above.usd file is brought in as payload or reference, it will resolve as an empty layer and then output a warning message in the log. So it's pretty simple that whatever you define the default will be shown or will be visible when you compile it, because that would be the entry point for the USD compiler or the composition when it loads. And if you do not define anything, it's gonna say, hey, there is nothing, and we are gonna get something kind of a warning message.
Mm-hmm. Empty layer.
Yeah, let's look at the code. So the
One
so
second. So 1 second. Let me just read this one more time. It's best practice to set default. Oh, it's best practice. Okay. Crucial for tools and applications that read USD file that it guides them the primary content for some maybe considered invalid or default prim. If the default prim is not specified, USD checker checks the default prim. Okay. And default prim is not particularly useful when the stage root layer is referenced in other stage. Okay, so it's particularly useful when the stage's root layer is referenced in other stages such as reference or payload, as it eliminates the need for consumers to specify the target manually prim. So okay, the code over here that I was showing,
mhm.
this is basically not doing anything, but it's just setting this part. Um,
Yes, entry
but it,
point. It's setting the entry point for the reference layer.
but it's not setting a over here. It's not doing the thing that oh, it's in. Wait,
Dude, wait, what?
why is it not showing over here? I have already set stage dot set default prim.
Uh-huh.
So
So it's showing
cube
over there, right?
3,
There's a sphere that is showing. You have a sphere, brother.
yeah, I
That's why
have
there's
a sphere, but over here you see they are showing default prim equals to car. So we should have seen a default prim equals to sphere. It's not showing it over here. I know why. I
let's
think.
take a look at the example we have over here. Wait. We
Oh
have some
yeah.
examples.
See. Look at this. Default prim equals to test because I changed the file. Yes.
Hmm.
The default prim. Okay. Noise. Okay. Wait. Oh, working with Python. That's it.
Yeah.
Default prim is set by using set default prim method in in USD stage. This method accepts any USD.prim, but the prim must be top level prim on the stage here. Oh, it should be top level prim. So it won't work if we set the default prim over here somewhere.
Hmm.
So that won't work. Is that top level? That is that what top level means over here?
But the prim must be wait. This method accepts any USD prim, but the prim must be set top level. Just play it out, like change to something else, maybe break it, find out. Set the default.
Sage.
So you can do copy
Oh
and
fuck.
command Z.
Where did that shit go?
Dude, you just did cut instead of copy.
Wait. Oh no. Bro, why is it not coming back after Command Z?
You lost it.
Okay. What were you saying? I mean, let me run this first. Okay. And then you're saying set the default stage.default. And do it over here maybe.
Yeah,
Stage set default. And what is this? Cube dot get prim? No.
it should be world dot get prim maybe. Yeah, it should be world dot get prim.
Oh, then it will wait. It will come below this then.
Yeah. No, it will. I think it should come below the USD geom, like this tier one, not the world, because world is something else. World is basically the main entry layer below the USD geom. Yeah, right over here.
And you're saying it
Then
should be fair.
now first you need to define it again. Like there is no variable defined. So
Oh.
define over there on the second line.
No,
Go.
no, 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 no. I'll just do sphere equal to this.
That's what I'm saying. Sphere equal to. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It should work.
Okay. I mean,
And it's
it
gonna.
should not work
Yeah,
according
like
to.
yeah, but programmatically it will do something.
Yeah.
Yes, we got a log error, which
Recomposing on stage.
oh no, I think your file broke. Yeah, because that's not a default frame.
What?
Yes. Since we do not change the file name to 4
Yeah.
and then over there as well, compile.
What does that mean? Recomposing on stage.
Not able to solve it because it doesn't have a default entry point. This was the error that we should be getting. Like it says over there on the top, uh, an empty layer and then output a warning message in the log. We are definitely getting the warning message in the log. See,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let
right,
me
and
see what Gemini says. Is this because of the default prim?
it is because of that only. If you add the default one right away, it's gonna do it
That
because
is
you're
just hallucination.
no.
Let
It's
me
not a
think.
dude. That is the only reason because you're trying to set a default prim and you're not referencing that prim over there.
So we are referencing. You're saying we should reference what over here?
You need to reference the test as it says. You need to reference test because there is no entry point. It does that prim doesn't know what is the file that it needs to load. In the code base, it says you need to add that slash test. Not over here, brother. You're changing. This is the file path.
Mm-hmm.
File path. You cannot like the file is correct, but there is no
Mm-hmm.
entry point. Like you're basically doing the
Or you're
same thing.
saying that this is just because of this error only that it's
Yes,
saying.
yes,
Okay, whatever. Top level prim.
yeah.
Top ke bande. Okay. From PXR import USD blah 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 stage. Create a new stage. USD stage. Create
You know
in
what?
memory. Why is it using create in memory now?
Go back to that file. Go back again over there. I will show you one thing. Okay, change it to shape2.usda. Change it to shape2.usda.
Which
No,
one?
over here. A
Yeah.
reference where you're referencing. Add
Oh,
reference.
this one.
Change it to shapes2, and it should render something. Compile. Bam! There we go.
What?
The error is gone. There is no
Yeah, but
warning because
I
you have
know,
the
but
default
okay.
for sphere, and now you're referencing the correct file.
Oh, oh, I see. Top level. So whatever this sets the default prim to, that becomes the top level, I guess.
Yes.
But this is saying something else. The default prim is, but the prim must be a top level prim on the stage. Must be a like how? Why is it saying it must be when it's doing it itself?
Well, I think we should just go through the code base over here, what it
Okay,
says.
okay.
So we can
Define a
just take
top level XForm prim over here. Default prim USD XForm. Set the XForm prim as the default.
what's saying. Okay, so it's saying that whatever the prim you are picking up and you're setting it right,
Yeah,
it should
yeah.
be on the top level. Like you cannot do sub layers. Like you cannot set a prim that is inside a prim, and you can set that.
Oh.
So whatever the prim you are setting up should have the hierarchical way as set in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
So what it means is, okay, if you go back above, we have X form car. So if you define, go up, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I got it. If we define the set default
Or
prim at body, it will give the
it won't
error.
work. Yeah, it won't work. It will
Yeah,
break.
yeah, got it, got it, got it. I got it. Understood. AI. Okay. Create a new. Oh, okay. Why is it using create in memory over here?
I don't know, maybe just for demo purposes.
What
Then
the
because
fuck?
it doesn't want to save a file. Yeah, like that's a. So if you use create in memory, you're not saving the file locally. You are just saving the file. You are creating the
Okay.
file in the memory.
Define stage. Yes. Oh, set the XForm prim as a default prim. Okay, stage. Okay. Export the stage to the string to verify. Print USDA. Stage.get root layer dot export to string. Print dot USDA. Assert stage dot get default prim equals to equal. Check that the expected default prim was set. Assert stage dot d. Okay, so it's just gonna print it. Okay, so there's only one example. Let's run this once. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, example one.
Yeah,
Set, bro. Do it again.
for sure.
I have made your screen bigger on the stream. Do it.
Nice.
Do it. Take a short break and do the session. I'll add the description also. Recovery of shoulder exercises.
Yes.
Multi-purpose stream.
We are fucking polymath.
Polymath, the Renaissance age. Renaissance age.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Set default prim.
Okay.
That is a default prim for the stages root layer. We did so much R&D on this. We know thoroughly now.
Uh-huh.
So
Stage.
as we over here, they are still setting the default prim for the first stage, not the second one, right? Stage dot define hello world,
Mm-hmm.
and for the hello prim, we are using the prime at the path that is hello. Again, the top level. Level सबके निकलेंगे. Right? But only at top level.
Top the bande, top level. Okay. File path equals to asset default prim.usda. Stage.usda is. Oh, wait, we can just run this over here. I see. One second. Reference. Stage. Say. Okay, this is just a type hint. USD.stage equals to create new stage file path. Stage.define prim is hello world. And then hello prim is defined as the top level. And
Yes.
then the default is hello prim. Got it.
Yes. So, in summary, a default prim is the top level prim that serves as the main entry point
For
for
USD stage.
the stage. Setting a default prim is a best practice when our stage root layer might be composed into another stage, whether as a reference or a payload. By utilizing default prim, we can create more organized and manageable USD stages. Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
Variance sets basics.
Last goal.
What
Oh,
are
wait.
variance?
Variance.
Variance lets you define alternative representation for a
LOD. I remember this, Lord.
or a person and switch between them without duplicating data. Typically used Typical uses include model shapes, materials or looks, and LODs, level of details.
Peak detailing.
When you select a variant, USD composes the opinion authored for that variant at the prim where the variant set is defined. How does it work? A prim can have one or more named variant sets. Each variant set contains variants choices. A variant selection can be authored on same layer that defines the set or in a different layer that references the prim. So each reference can pick a different option. You author the data inside a variant by selecting a variant edit context. Opinions authored in the context apply only when that variant is active. Strength Standard strength ordering rules still apply. We will dive deeper into the levels later.
1 second. Variance has selected to define alternative representation for duplicate. When you select a variant, USD composes the opinion authored for that variant at the prim where the variant set is defined. How does it work? A prim can have one or more name variant sets. Each variant set contains variant choices. A variant selection can be authored on the same layer that defines the set or in a different layer. What does this mean? A variant selection can be authored on the same layer that defines the set or in a different layer that references the prim. So each reference can pick different option. You author data inside a variant by selecting it and opening a variant edit context. Opinions
We go
authored
through,
in.
through the code base, we will get to know more better. There's a
Okay.
perfect example over there.
All
So
right.
how do we get the variants? We use get variants sets API, and then
Oh, this is just this much. Wow.
yeah, and then
Bruh.
we use
Wait.
vsets.
Let me turn this on so that when we finish, we'll have the quiz.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, wait.
Shoulder rehab.
Shoulder
Valid.
Rehab by Dr. Gavinder.
Yes. MA PhD. I don't know whatever. My friend, she did some kind of masters, but from India and physiotherapy.
I have a friend who is doing that over here in US.
Yeah, yeah. Over here, physiotherapists makes like shit ton of money.
Not
Shit.
really.
Like it depends upon which hospital. Oh yeah. Oh, basically, insurance companies make shit ton of money,
Yeah,
but that's the craziest STEM field. Actually.
yeah, it's not bad. But the amount they need to invest to get that
It's
is
it's like a
crazy.
long investment. You won't be able to switch fields at some point. Like for us, we can switch fields pretty easily if you want, if you put much effort. But for them, it's like a deep down because they are basically going into body and blah blah blah.
Body.
I wanted to become a doctor, but then gladly I've not. Somebody might have died at this point.
What? You did what?
Nothing, bro. I wanted to become a doctor,
Yeah, I didn't get the second part. What did you say?
but the second part was gladly I am not.
Oh, glad you're not.
Yes, I'm glad. Well, I think I would say doctor is being something else, bro. It's like a whole other world.
Bro, doctors are gonna be out of jobs because we're gonna train our robots to perform surgeries on ourselves.
I would say lawyer, uh, hospitals are never gonna go out of job.
Hell no, you're wrong.
I don't think so, bro. I don't think so.
No, 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 bro. I think they are.
These- For, like they will have their tasks done easily, much more frequently. They will be able to diagnose things. People
Maybe,
won't.
maybe.
Yeah, but
But
eventually,
like,
like
okay, wait. Once there's a robot who is good enough to run the diagnosis on you, and he'll be
still,
much smarter.
still, you need a human intervention at some point.
Who?
People
Why? Why?
because people won't trust robots for at least 100 years. I would say.
What? No, I don't think
Yes,
so. You're wrong, bro.
yes. We are only trusting robots for coding, right?
Bro, I think they're gonna trust
Like some
robots
people,
more than
it's
humans.
bad or damn. It's
Bro,
always damn,
focus on
motherfucker.
the code part. So 30 questions for these four sections, right? Or do you want 40?
To 30, like 30 is more than enough.
30 is
10
not more
each.
than enough. Bro, today we did four big sections.
Hey, dude,
Yesterday we
but
did.
those sections are small, like variants and default prim. Do you think they need that much attention?
Okay.
Like default prim was not that much. Like it only talked about the most important thing in that was
Mm-hmm.
where do you need to define default prim, and the other important thing was specifiers and references. So I think 30 would cover them. And the variant sets, I'm looking at it right now. It's not that complicated. So we usually just like pushing it. Because eventually, like at the end, we might do one more quiz, maybe tomorrow, like for everything for the whole composition basics on
Yeah.
Sunday. We just do a recap.
Okay. Okay, auto mode on. Let's let it cook.
Okay, now let's go through the code.
And I will,
Initially,
bro, after this variant set basics, I will take a 5 minute break because I need to make my smoothie.
all right. So it's pretty simple right over here. We use get variant sets API to get the USD variant set, and then once we do that, we can call other APIs, that is add variant. And once we do that, we need to define what kind of variant it is by giving it maybe a string value, choice A, choice B. And once we have that, we can set what kind of variant selection we are doing. This is like really rudimentary. Like it is showing us what kind of
Okay, wait, line by line. Prim dot get variants is USD variant set. Essential APIs live on USD prim, USD variant sets, USD variant set. Okay. Where v sets equals to prim dot get variant sets. V set equals to v sets dot add variant set name USD variant set create or get. What does this mean? Prim dot get variant sets is get variant sets. USD variant get variant sets. USD variant set. So this is from the API, right?
yeah, that's from the API.
And then vsets is a variable. We set prim dot get variant sets in that variable. And then vset equals to vsets dot add variant. So we are basically making a vsets variant over here.
I think it's similar to sets. Remember sets, like in Python, they
Yeah,
cannot have it's
immutable.
yeah.
Vsets dot add variant set name USD variant set create or get. So add variant set. Okay, add vset dot add variant choice A. Add a variant. Set variant selection choice A. Select a variant with vset dot get variant A. Edit context. All specs authored in this with go inside the selected variant. Okay, so all of them will go in the choice A. Vset get variant edit context. Add variant. Okay. Vset dot get variant name. Choice A, choice B. Vset dot get variant selection currently selected name. Okay, it's just straightforward calls. Variant set provides name choice for prim. A variant is one choice. Selecting a variant composes the opinion authored for the choice at that prim. Authored data inside a variant was selecting it and using get variant edit context. Those opinions only apply when that variant is active. Okay. Okay. I think we would need more, what do you say, code for variants to understand it.
So if you look at the next module, it says beyond the basics. So I
I
think it's gonna
know.
cover. Yeah.
Primware, value resolution, custom properties. Okay. We are picking up the speed now.
Yeah. I think how long is the next module? Dude, yeah.
Mm,
Overview, prim VAS, value
I
resolution.
think we'll be able to complete two more modules this week, most probably.
Yeah. Yeah,
Beyond the
two more.
basics
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. With two more modules,
and
and then
then we're gonna be left with three. I think by 1st June we'll be done with all of the other ones.
yeah, and then we will just do
Quiz and practice and projects. We'll make projects
Yes.
quick. So we finally completed three modules and we completed what we aimed for today.
Yes. Uh,
And we
but-
did it in 1 hour 56 minutes.
yes,
But
sir.
we took like a 5 minute break.
That's fine.
I wanted to take a quick nap because I was
Oh
not able to open my eyes.
my God. May Lord. help you open your eyes in the right
Okay,
direction.
let's see where's the quiz. It's still building. So I'm gonna make my smoothie
All right,
while.
perfect. Bye bye.
All right, let's do it. I'm done. Whew. 'तेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही है. If you're saying something.
My bad, my bad. Okay, a pipeline tool at Litware. What the hell? Wait, shit. Yes, sir. A pipeline tool at Litware iterates, stage, or traverse to compute bounding boxes for for the renderer. A teammate notes that the prim authored with over and class specifiers in the file are not appearing in the iteration. For the specifiers, lesson
C.
which state.
It's C.
Ooh, only define non-script class websites and over prim that will resolve. Okay, which class is the team which observes and then oh yeah,
Pretty
true.
straightforward.
Straightforward.
A USDA review shows the same prim authored as over in a stronger layer as def in a weaker layer. For the specifiers lesson, what is the result specifier on the composed
A
C?
class, I think A over wins because it appears in a stronger layer. The prim is treated as an override and script by default traversals.
Liver peas. Specifier is at last,
But
but it is in a
over,
stronger layer, so over will win. Yeah, I think over will win. You're right.
oh,
No,
no.
we didn't even read the result specifier is def. Over is the weakest specifier and resolves to either a def or class specifier when one present in composed scene. The lesson says over is the weakest specifier will resolve to either def or class specifier.
Oh yeah, dude, it
The other option
inherently.
inverts what?
Yeah.
What?
So over will only work until unless the def works. Like over is basically like if you are trying to resolve something, if def resolves, then only the over will resolve. I think that is so. I do remember when we are taking a look at the USDA file, we first have to resolve def. Like first def is resolved, and
Mm,
any other property that we are trying to assign, let's say scaling it to 2x or scaling it to 3x, will get
mm,
resolved, right? So the resolve specifier is gonna be def definitely because if def is gonna resolve, then only over will resolve. I think this is what my understanding is, and this is why I was wrong.
Let
Yeah,
me ask over here.
specifiers. What is
Oh, I see. I understand. Got it.
like? Is it the same thing that I said? Like because death
What
should
did you say?
exist.
Yeah,
I
def
said
should exist. Only then the over has like any value.
yeah, yeah, okay,
Uh,
yeah. I think yeah. All right, let's go to the next one.
a debug script needs to read the current specifier on a prim and conditionally rewrite it per the specifiers lessons Python section, which call pair fits it. So debug script needs to read the current specifier. So get specifier stage dot get specifier. I think prim dot get specifier
I don't remember
and conditionally rewrite it.
this thing was there first of all.
There, it was there, bro. It was the first two lines of code in the thing.
Yeah, I think so. It should be prim. It should, wait.
I think it's A.
No, are you sure? I think it should be D for some reason. Stage or get prim
The stage
specifier.
owns the specifier mapping. No, bro. I think it should be A. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Re- reviewer at Contoso sees this in the layer.
Over box double size 10. So there should be a def box.
Yeah, it defines a new prim now. It sparsely modifies B.
Yeah. Yeah. An engineer at Acme reviews this USDA snippet class box double size. The port display the what is the intended use of class prim and is it visited?
See,
Obviously, I also know it's C because it's a
I got
point instancer. It's straightforward, bro. Next time I will make it.
dude, not
Not
just tell
now.
it.
Not now.
Just tell it right away. It's gonna store it in the memory so that it remembers. So that it remembers
Tell it
this
right
thing.
away.
Yeah, just tell it right away that from next time, whatever you want to convey, and say store this in your memory while generating the quiz next time.
Make
So
the
yeah, what about
options more rather than straightforward copying text options. Okay. For the specified lesson, what is the intended? Yeah, I think it's C. A pipeline script at Northwind needs to author usable color look green as class prim as a class prim and then attach a display color primware to it. For the specifier, there's an example on which call creates the class prim.
from a pipeline script and Northwind needs to author a reusable color. Look at the world. Look grid as a color prim, then attach a display color prim where which call creates the class prim. A stage dot create class. Prim.
Yeah, I think it's A. Correct. An engineer authors a new stronger layer that sublayers specifier base.usda. Okay, so this is the base layer. This is not the base layer. This is like the sub layer.
Mhm.
Um, then calls. Stage dot override prim world box and author the new size per the specified lesson example 2. What does the override prim do and how does the resulting composed prim behave?
And
It
then you
basically overrides.
layer, that sublayer, the specifier layer, and then calls the override prim and the author the new size for the specifier. Like what does the override prim do and how does the
I think it's D.
and the coefficient remains deaf from this and the new size will always by base. Yeah, it's D. Deletes the depth of the world or promotes to prim now.
Bro, I will make it more difficult next time. This is because
Way
it's
too.
not because of the concept, it's
The thing is, it's not its fault. Is his fault. Why? Because like the whole module was like basics. When we go beyond the basics, it's gonna get more complicated.
hmm.
And this is like, and because we're like doing the quiz right away, so we do remember everything.
Let me just understand this once because stage.override prim model box creates an override specifier at the new path at that path in your new stronger layer. Instead of defining brand new object from scratch, it establishes a speculative neutral placeholder. Placeholder essentially tell. Okay, next question. Containing the specifies lessons example 2, the script also runs box prim cube dot get prim get inherits add inherit SDF path.
Wait, scroll up. What was the question? Specifier lesson two. The script also runs box prim dot get prim dot inherits blah blah blah. The first pairing in arc with the class prim like blah 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 to compose the class prim. Hmm. This is a tough one. To compose the class prim's opinions.
So that the cube inherits that green color, remember? That's the
I think
reason we are doing this.
should be B.
Because it's the longest. I know.
No, because it composes. It says to compose the class prim's opinions onto the box.
Yeah.
Because of that reason, I'm going with that. But C doesn't make sense to activate. We are not activating anything.
Yeah.
To register, we do not. We are not registering anything. And A is like cloning. We do not do cloning.
hmm A debug script prints prim dot get prim stack after example 2 and sees two entries, one for the strong overlayer specifier over base USDA and one for the weaker specifier base.usda. For this specific lesson, in what order does get print stack return these and what specifier does each carry?
Ordered strong to weak. First, the override layer. Wait, what? Prints get prim stack. Oh, from example 10 sees two entries. One for stronger overlayer specifier over base and one over the weaker specifier base. First specifier lessons. And what does
Order does get print stack return these? What specifier does each carry? Strong to weak override layer and the base layer no. Weak to strong. First the base layer def, then override ordered.
I think
I
it
think
should be
B. B.
base layer and then the lesson is bottom up iteration for yeah, it should be B. Use a bottom up iteration.
Let's see, we can be wrong as well. Yes, we are wrong. I knew it. Order strong to weak first override layer, then the base layer. Why? The lesson explicitly calls out get prim stack returns SDF prim spec handles ordered strong to weak. The overlayer carrying over the base layer carrying def. What does this mean, bro? I think we skipped this part.
What one? So
It's
no, dude. This is what I was confused with. So initially it said that ordered strong to weak. So the first override layer is the specific over, and then the base layer, then the lesson loop iterates exactly this order. Mm. But again, let me go through it. Stack. So first of all, it's the stack. Then it's gonna layer. One of the weaker layer. Okay. Yes, yes. I know where we got confused. We got
Mhm.
confused with how it's gonna compile in runtime and how it's gonna show us. So the question
Mhm.
was, how will it show us? So it will basically show us like in a similar manner, like first the override layer and then the base layer. But if the question was how it's gonna compute, it would be B. That's why we got confused.
Show us. Oh, okay.
Yes, it says show us, not how will USB compile or do it in the runtime.
Mhm. Uh, okay.
Dude, the- these options are like crazy, you
Yeah.
know.
Semantic similarity search. Uh, okay. Read this.
A reviewer at Litware authors over on Worldbox in a stronger layer where a def for Worldbox already exists in a weaker layer. They expect the stronger over to replace the def because it's stronger, but the specifier lesson what actually happened to resolve specifier of Worldbox. Okay, resolve specifier. A reviewer at Litware authors and over on in a strong layer where a def for world box already exists in the weak layer. The resolver specifies becomes class since something over a def is treated like
D. I think it's D.
since the over doesn't change the image we haven't covered it over. Yes, it's the a script at Contoso needs to inspect and modify the references authored on a prim. For referencing basic lessons, which call returns the object used for managing those references. Oh, get references. What was it? Prim dot get references, right? Yeah, it's user object for manage. Yeah, it should be B. I would say
B.
prim dot. Yeah, a pipeline script wants to add an external reference to a specific prim path of an asset for referencing basic lessons, which call fits. Reference dot append reference prim dot add reference dot add prim dot add b. Dude, the hell?
What pipeline script wants to add an external reference to a specific prim path inside an asset? For the reference, you're saying B?
Yeah, I would go with B.
It's wrong.
Oh, references. Yes, we have to first define the variable. Shit. Mm.
Wait, a pipeline, I don't even understand the question correctly right now. Pipeline
Dude,
script
go ahead.
wants to add an external reference. What is an
Yes.
external reference?
Anything, dude. External reference, adding a .usd file reference, that
To
would
a
be the
specific prim path inside an asset.
asset, right? So
Inside an asset means what?
inside an asset, you have an asset. That is that
What
already.
asset? How are we defining an asset in code?
We are not defining word slash path.
That is a prim. That is not an asset, though.
That is the path for that. In that wait, asset path and prim path. Wait, slash word slash name and then asset path. It is the name that we are gonna put over it, right? So prim path is the file name. The whole
Bro,
USDA
I
is a
don't
prim.
understand this whole statement
So
only.
just go back to that notebook. You will see over there.
Get reference access the reference
So even
utility.
assets, we created assets dot usda dot that files. Remember
You're saying
in in the notebook you have the assets. Or multiple USD files are called assets.
oh, these assets. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. And then okay. I get it. Accesses the reference utility interface for target prim on your stage. Points to the external file on the disk or in your asset management system. Specifies exact subroute path inside that external file you want to target. If you leave this blank, OpenUSD will default to external files default prim. Hmm. Okay, got it. An engineer. Okay, read it.
An engineer at North Wind writes.
They omit the prim path entirely per referencing basics logic. Basic
Well,
lesson.
table A.
When the reference layer has default prim defined, omitting the prim path tells USD to use the entire external layer rooted at its default prim.
That would be my guess based on the default prim, Otherwise, it's gonna break it.
It is acceptable when the reference layer has default prim defined. Omitting the prim path tells USD that the entire external layer rooted at its default prim. Yeah, I think that's right. Yes. Bro, this is fucked.
What?
See, I'm selecting the longest options and they're always right.
Okay.
A reviewer
But
sees this in a layer. Uh-huh.
the hmm So you already answered this one.
Yeah, because I was just trying to see if the longest options are always right, and that is the case. The like always like the longest question answers. Like, see in this one, this is like the longest one. This is gonna be
Mm-hmm.
right,
Alright, you have cracked the code. Fuck.
and this is gonna be the longest one. Oh,
No, you. A maintenance
fuck
script
me.
for every reference authored on a prim, so the prim can be targeted from scratch. For referencing basic lesson, which call fits? Oh, clear references, brother. Clear references. That was a really simple one there.
Yeah,
Clear references.
it tricked me,
Next.
bro. We should read these first. Yeah, 14.
Describe what this composes. Even though if we did not, if you haven't went with selecting the longest one, like you just going through the option, that was pretty simple.
Yeah, yeah. That's what
This
I'm
one.
saying. I'm gonna make the options more difficult now,
Yeah, sure, sure.
and like semantically, the questions need to change. Oh, fuck. The pipeline architect wants to graft a subtree from world library chair to world set chair A. Oh, this is variant. Without crossing for file boundaries for referencing basics lesson, which framing fits select one. Okay, this is an internal reference. Reference can grab data from any other part of hierarchy. Yeah, bro. I think OpenUSD is difficult, bro. It's not easy.
Oh yeah, it's difficult. It's gonna take time. Like,
Yeah.
but okay. The June next question, question six. What's the question six? 16.
Uh-huh. In what order are the reference layer stacked and destination prim local opinion composed? USD first composes the layer stack of the reference prim, then adds the resulting prim spec to destination prim, then applies any overrides or additional composition arcs from the destination prim. Mm-hmm. Okay. Maintenance script needs to remove. Oh yeah, we already did this. Okay, 18th. Do it.
The study guide chapter ranks the important of the composition arcs in USD. For the referencing basic lessons, where do references sit in that ranking and after which arc? Okay, study per referencing basic lessons, where do references sit in the rank? References are the most important here. References are third important. LIV, second most important. C. C.
LIVER. Second most important, yeah. We already did this.
Uh,
For the referencing basics lessons, example one, the pattern used to introduce a referenced cube into a new stage is reference frame dot get reference, USD jump. Yeah, a team as defined by defined prim is always is called before add reference. rather than relying on the reference to
I
introduce
think
the
it should
prim per the lesson
be
which framing.
A. Like I haven't seen the D, but it should be A. Add reference cannot be called on an undefined trip. Or what is the D? Example one pattern explicitly defines a destination prim on the host stage and then attaches its reference to it. I think I would just go with the biggest one.
The destination prim is what holds the reference arc in the lesson, then applies the next form common API translation on the same destination prim to position the composed content. Add reference cannot be on undefined prim. Call what is defined prim. Yeah, it's D. And if you're asked for the canonical use cases for references called out in referencing basics lesson for the lesson, which set best matches, select one.
Again, we will go with the biggest option.
Fucking wait, bro. Let me see if somebody is watching us or if somebody has any questions. Nobody, no questions.
Ugh.
But 53 views today.
Oh my god.
Top, top notch.
That would be.
Oh, bro, 1 week of break in gym, the whole body gets fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
Consistency.
What?
Nothing. Next question. 21.
Bhai, bro, but reviewer asked for canonical use cases for references called out in referencing basic
But this is
lesson.
like basically doing recall us helping us in recalling the concepts, like building large complex scenes from smaller sub scenes. This is basically like copy paste from the documentation. It says in the documentation.
I know, I know. Okay.
Uh, an
And
asset
asset
is
delivered.
as a simple scene with two. Okay, I know. Mm,
D.
wait, what?
Oh, warning
Deliver.
message. It's A.
I w- yeah, I was looking for that warning message. Yeah, a pipeline.
Top level X form, world X form, and wants to see set it as the default for the default, which calls for its set default prim module blah blah stage dot set default prim. Yeah, C. A QA engineer at Litware runs USD checker against an asset and gets an error about missing default prim. For the default prim lesson, why does the USD checker care about this? USD checker requires a default prim because it computes bounding boxes only on default prim, treating the no entry point. B. Yes.
Yes.
Try stage dot set default prim. I think our weakest point is references, bro. We are fucked in
Oh, no,
references.
no. Specifiers.
Both specifier and references.
Yeah,
Both of them
references
are
were
like
no, dude, look at how many we did wrong. References were we almost did everything correct for
no,
references.
in references I chose like the biggest options. That's why it's
No, dude,
correct.
but
We
references was straightforward. Like I would say, specifier was the toughest for me. References was pretty straightforward.
uh-huh.
The specifiers were really confusing. That's why, like, I was not able to
Okay.
answer.
Okay.
An engineer tries stage dot default set default prim stage dot get prim at path, and a surprise doesn't have as expected, is not a valid because it is not the top level one. See,
Bro. Shut the fuck up. It's like
without
the easiest
without
topic over there.
looking at any options. A pipeline script at Northwind wants to introduce a shading variant set on prim. If one doesn't exist, or fetch the existing set if it does, without raising on the second call for the variant set basic lessons which call fetch prim dot get variant sets, then add variant set prim dot if missing. First we get the variant sets, and then we look for has variant sets, and then if we do not, then we do not have any defined. So B is eliminated, A is eliminated, prim dot cut variance as dot iterate, lesson of this call creates of the named. It would be C. C, brother. C.
Bro, one second. Prim dot create variant set shading if missing. Else prim get variant set shading. Two separate methods. Or prim variant. C. I think
Yes,
it's
C.
B. Oh, it was C. You're right.
Dude, it's simple as fuck. Get variant sets. Like none of them
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
wrong because it does not exist. Like the naming and everything was wrong. There is no API like has variant set. There is no API like define variant set.
Mm-hmm.
So that straight
You're
on.
right. Big down.
Yes, straight on. Question 26. Teammate at Contoso wants to author opinions that only take effect when choice A per the variance set lesson.
A. Per variant set, which Python pattern? Uh, yeah, it's B. I remember this code block.
Okay, I don't remember, but
Yeah, no, I remember it over here. Look at this. With vset dot get variant edit context, all specs authored in this with go inside the selected variant. A studio references the same hero asset in two different shots. Shot A needs the red shading variant, shot B needs blue shading variant. Per the variant set basics, lessons which approach first variant set selections be authored different layers, letting each reference pick a different option with overall results still following USD strength ordering exactly. Yeah, I think it's A. Each shot must inline a copy asset with selected variant baked in. No. Both shots must select same variant. No. There's no reference must be placed with an inherent arc or per customer variants. No, I think it's A.
the biggest one wins. Again, the biggest one wins.
This one, see?
Wait. A debug tool wants to list the variant name in a set, read which one is currently selected, and remove the selection at the activity target for the variant set basic lesson, which triple of call fits. Dude, this is something it did not had like, but okay, get variant name, get variant selection, clear variant selection, no, goes through, no, D. I think it should be D. Because I don't remember like we can do clear variant selection with the name. It either clears everything. See,
Yeah, these three.
uh,
Reviewer asks why whether a single prim can carry both shading variant set and geometry variant set. Yes, it can.
as well as
Or whether USD restricts this for the variant sets basics lesson, which framing is correct.
I think should we see?
Obviously.
I no, but I did read it. That was
Yeah, no, no,
close.
I understand it too. Yeah, I know. A junior engineer asks whether variant selection win automatically because they switch entire subtree of opinions. For the variant sets basic lesson, what is the correct framing? Variant selection are evaluated way outside the composition engine. Always take precedence over any other arc. Standard strength, obviously it would be. Standard strength ordering rule applies. Selecting a variant composes the opinions authored or the variant at the prim, but those opinions still participate in USD strength ordering, covered in more depth in later. Covered, Claude code, bro. Covered in more depth in a later lesson. Obviously, it's B.
Same consistency.
I'm gonna change the quiz tomorrow, bro. I've already,
Yeah, perfect.
yeah, I'll do this tomorrow. All right.
All right, we are
The
done.
goal was somewhat completed, but
Mm,
oh, we streamed for 3 hours today. Damn,
crazy. Yes, sir.
it's crazy. All right, I'm gonna end it in now. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye.
Howie.